Okay, so this was, I'm going to go over this problem right here. It says, write the slope-intercept equation for a line passing through the point 610 that is parallel to y equals 1/2 x plus 20. Then write a second equation for the line passing through the given point that is perpendicular to the given line. This is one of the most missed problems, and I think it's because there are two parts to this. We have to find a parallel line and a perpendicular line. So I'm going to skip over here. I wish I could write this out, but I went ahead and copied this here, and I'm just going to type out the answers. So what we need is, let's first start by finding the parallel line. So the parallel line will have the same slope, right? So take a look at this line up here that we have. The slope is, remember, it's y equals mx plus b. So the slope of our line is m is equal to 1/2, right? And then we know that the point is, it says through the point 610, right? So 6 comma 10 is our line. So this is gonna, 6 is gonna be our x1 and 10 is gonna be our y1. So I'm gonna use this point slope version, and you can see we have m, we have x1, and we have y1, and we can go ahead and plug those in. So I'm just gonna copy this down, and where I see y1, I remember y1 is 10, and then m is 1/2, so I put 1/2 here. And then x minus x1, what's our value of x1 is 6. So there's our first step, but it wants it in slope-intercept form, so that what we're going to do now is distribute the 1/2 in there. So when I go to this next step, it's going to be, I'm going to go ahead and copy this down here, it's going to be y minus 10 equals 1/2 times x is just 1/2 x, and then when we distribute the 1/2 to 6, it's going to give us a 3 there. So all I did from here to here was distribute the 1/2 to both terms. I don't need this parentheses bracket now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 10 to both sides. So when I add 10 to both sides, what I get is I get y equals, whoops, let me unbold that. Y equals, add 10 to negative 3, it's going to be 1/2 x, that stays the same, and then when I add 10 to both sides, negative 3 plus 10 is a positive 7. So there is our parallel line. Now let's do the perpendicular line. It will have an opposite reciprocal slope. I spell that wrong all the time. P-R-O-C-A-L, I think, is the spelling of that. It's have an opposite reciprocal slope. So if my slope here is 1/2, what we're going to do is we're going to flip that fraction over and make it negative. So my slope is going to be negative 2 over 1, which we would just write as negative 2, right? And it's still through the point 6 comma 10. So again, I take this point slope form, and I am now going to, where I see y1, again I put 10. My slope here for the perpendicular line is negative 2 over 1, or just negative 2. X minus x1 is also 6. Now again, distribute the negative 2 in there. So what we're going to have after we distribute the negative 2 is y minus 10. Why it's giving me this bold, but y minus 10 equals negative 2x, because negative 2 times x is negative 2x, and negative 2 times negative 6 is a positive 12. Last step is to add 10 to both sides. I add 10 to both sides here, and what we're going to get is y is equal to negative 2x, and then when I add 10, I'm going to get a positive 22. So this is my perpendicular line, this is my parallel line. So I take a look and I see 1/2 x plus 7 is the parallel, negative 2x plus 22. You can see that answer C is my correct answer. Check that one, and we got it. So a lot of work there, but you're essentially doing the same process twice. Just make sure for parallel slope it's the same slope, for perpendicular slope it's the opposite reciprocal.